we are mysteriously drawn by an invisible force of nature, or maybe we are genetically programmed to make beelines for these farms, which every spring are surrounded by an undulating sea of pink and white blossom that runs for miles. Time on these remote cider farms seems to stand still for most of the year. Upon arrival, your mind also slows down. You sniff the air and stroll about the yard, and then, after a few minutes, your senses become attuned to this more relaxed pace of life. You start to notice small things. To get a real flavour of this forgotten world, you simply ring the bell, climb a few steps, and enter the large, creaking doorway that leads into a musty barn full of wooden barrels and cobwebs, hogsheads and pipes. You walk in a little further, as if entering a cavern, and in the dark barn squeeze past enormous vats. Here you find the cider press, a heavy-duty hydraulic piece of kit that exerts great pressure when you want it to. In the 19th century, this key invention took over from the great wooden presses with screw threads that dated back to medieval times. But today, your life is dictated by the speed of pressing. The chopped apple is built up into a square with layers about 3 feet high and held in place with slatted ash boards and large brown Hessian cloths. This is called a cheese. In the old days, they would have been made with long straw, which was folded in neatly to keep the apple intact when under pressure. There is a rich aroma of crushed apple hanging in the air like an exotic perfume, so rich you can almost taste it. If you listen carefully, you can hear the sound of cider bubbling away, fermenting in the background, nature doing its thing. There are only 2 of you building the cheeses, one on either side, and after every cheese you swap sides. One controls the apple shoot from above, and the other positions the boards and cloths. Like most manual work, pressing cider has a rhythm all of its own. There is always the gush of running water as apples are hosed down into the apple pit. From here, the clunking elevator takes the apples up to the loft, where the mill chops them up with a high-speed whirring noise. Each layer of apple must be even. You need a good eye and an even touch as you spread the pulped apples with your hands. Once built, you push the cheese into the press and start the pump. The apple juice pours out in an orange-brown waterfall that is piped away. The dry, spent pomace is then thrown into a muck spreader and taken out to the fields for the cattle. 2 presses work simultaneously and can produce 100 gallons every 20 minutes. This is where it all happens. Slowly the smell of apples works its way into your mind. You live and breathe cider apples every day. Your hands are stained black with tannin, and there is no way you can wash it off. Just like the smell of apples, it is deeply ingrained. You wear a hat, a smock, and an apron to keep the juice from running all over you. It is like being in the engine room of a small tramp steamer, a wonderful way to keep fit and warm. Some tall oak vats are over 150 years old and are so vast it takes a week to fill them. And then it's time for the ritual tastings. Last year's cider. Communion with the apple god, reward for your hard work the previous autumn. You consult the barrels and sample the cider, accompanied by the squeak of a wooden tap as it is turned on and then